Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. Let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following statements. Fiscal deficit is the difference between total expenditure and the sum of revenue receipts and non-debt receipts. Primary deficit is derived by deducting capital expenditure from fiscal deficits. So we have to select the correct statement. Only the first statement is correct. Option A will be the correct answer. The budget has been tabled in the Parliament by the Finance Minister on 1st February and it is likely to address concerns around growth, inflation and spending. Fiscal deficit by definition is the difference between total expenditure and the sum of revenue receipts and non-debt receipts. It indicates how much the government is spending in net terms. Since positive fiscal deficits indicate the amount of expenditure over and above revenue and non-debt receipts, it needs to be financed by a debt-creating capital receipt. Primary deficit is the difference between fiscal deficit and interest payment. Revenue deficit is derived by deducting capital expenditure from fiscal deficits. Consider the following statements. A green bond is a debt instrument with which capital is being raised to fund green projects. Bonds traditionally paid a fixed rate of interest to investors. In 2017, green bonds were launched by 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢. We have to select the correct statement. The first and the second are correct. Option A is the correct answer. The Union Finance Minister recently announced plans to issue sovereign green bonds, a concept catching up globally, to move towards carbon neutrality. A green bond is a debt instrument with which capital is being raised to fund green projects, which typically include those relating to renewable energy, clean transportation, sustainable water management. A bond is a fixed income instrument that represents a loan made by an investor to a borrower. Bonds traditionally paid a fixed interest rate to investors. In 2007, green bonds were launched by a few development banks such as European Investment Bank and the World Bank. Subsequently, in 2013, corporates too started participating, which led to its overall growth. Consider the following statements regarding special economic zones. An SEZ is a territory within a country that is typically duty-free and has different business and commercial laws. Asia's first export processing zones was established in 1965 in Kerala. We have to select the correct statement. Only the first statement is correct. Option A is the correct answer. The government recently proposed to replace the existing law governing special economic zones with a new legislation to enable states to become partners in development of enterprise and service hub. An SEZ is a territory within a country that is typically duty-free and has different business and commercial laws, chiefly to encourage investment and create employment. These are created also to better administer these areas, thereby increasing the ease of doing business. Asia's first export processing zone was established in 1965 at Kandla, Gujarat. The Special Economic Zones Act was passed in 2005. The Act came into force along with the SEZ rules in 2006. However, these were operational in India from 2000 to 2006 under the foreign trade policy. India's special economic zones were structured closely with China's successful model. The Board of Approval is the apex body and is headed by Secretary, Department of Commerce. Moving on. Consider the following statements. SC has held healthcare to be a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. Roshni Helpline is a 24/7 toll-free helpline to provide support to people facing mental health issues. We have to select the correct statement. Only the first is correct, second is not. Private sector healthcare providers have lauded the union budget for focusing on the national digital health ecosystems and mental health. According to the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Like physical health, mental health is also important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. SC has held healthcare to be a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. To address the huge burden of mental disorders and shortage of qualified professionals in the field of mental health, the government has been implementing the National Mental Health Program since 1982. Mental Health Care Act of 2017 guarantees every affected person access to mental health care and treatment from services run or funded by the government. It has significantly reduced the scope for the use of Section 309 IPC and made the attempt to commit suicide punishable only as an exception. In 2020, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment launched a 24/7 toll-free helpline Kiran to provide support to people facing anxiety, stress, depression, suicidal thoughts, and other mental health concerns. Consider the following statements. Nelson Mandela served as the Secretary General of Non-Aligned Movement. He was awarded Padma Bhushan and Nobel Prize. United Nations has recognized the period from 2019 to 2028 as the Nelson Mandela Decade of Peace. So we have to select the correct statement. Only the second is incorrect. First and third are correct. Option C is the correct answer. Amnesty International recently labeled Israel an apartheid state that treats Palestinians as an inferior racial group, joining the assessment of other rights groups, which the Jewish state vehemently rejects. Nelson Mandela was one of the most charismatic figures of the 21st century. He was an icon of non-violence and peace, whose vision and mission led to the end of the apartheid in South Africa. Moving on, he also served as the Secretary General of the Non-Aligned Movement from 1998 to 1999. He was awarded Bharat Ratna and Nobel Peace Prize. The United Nations has recognized the period from 2019 to 2028 as the Nelson Mandela Decade for Peace. Consider the following statements. World Wetlands Day marks the date of establishment of the Wetlands International. Wetlands in India are regulated under the Wetlands Conservation and Management Rules 2017. The theme for World Wetlands Day 2022 was Wetlands and Climate Change. So, we have to select the correct statement. Only the second statement is correct. Option B will be the correct answer. Every year, on February 2nd, people across the globe observe World Wetlands Day in order to raise awareness among people about wetlands. This day marks the date of the adoption of the Convention on Wetlands on 2nd February 1971 in the Iranian city of Ramsar. It was first observed in 1997. Wetlands are ecosystems saturated with water either seasonally or permanently. Wetlands are a critical part of our natural environment. They mitigate floods, protect coastlines, and build community resilience to the disasters, reduce the impacts of floods, absorb pollutants, and improve water quality. Wetlands in India are regulated under the Wetlands Conservation and Management Rules 2017. This year, the theme of World Wetlands Day is Wetlands Action for People and Nature. With respect to the Kawach system, consider the following statements. It will help Indian Railways achieve the goal of zero accidents. It is based on infrared communication, microprocessors, and global positioning system technology. We have to select the not correct statement or statements. Only the second is incorrect. Option B is the correct answer. Railways Minister has lauded the announcements related to railways in the budget and also informed that what the Kawach technology entails. It is an indigenously developed anti-collision technology in SIL 4 certified, which means there is the probability of a single error in 10,000 years. Kawach is an anti-collision device network. It is based on radio communication microprocessors and global positioning system technology. It will help Indian Railways achieve the goal of zero accidents. When mounted on two approaching trains, the technology would enable them to assess each other's course and initiate an automatic braking action in case they were perceived to be at collision risk. Budget 2022 shows Nal Se Jal scheme remains a priority. Consider the following statements with respect to the scheme. Goa, Telangana, Haryana and Puducherry remain the only states union territories with provision for tap water supply to all rural households. The scheme is a component of Jal Jeevan Mission with a deadline of providing tapped water till 2024. We have to select the correct statement. Only the second is correct. Option B is the correct answer. Since August 2019, Government of India is implementing Jal Jeevan Mission in partnership with states. Aim is to make provision of tap water supply to every rural household and public institution and villages. The Nal Se Jal scheme is a component of Jal Jeevan Mission having a deadline of 2024. In Goa, Telangana, Haryana, Puducherry, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu, provision of tap water supply to all rural households has been made. During the Budget 2022 presentation, the Union Finance Minister said the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan for Expressway will be formulated in 2023. PM Gati Shakti seeks to address the lack of coordination between different departments related to infrastructure. It is based on 6 pillars. The major goals of PM Gati Shakti is to improve ease of living as well as ease of doing business. We have to select the correct statement. All 3 are correct. Option D is the correct answer. PM Gati Shakti will address the past issues through institutionalizing holistic planning for stakeholders of major infrastructure projects. There was a lack of coordination between different departments, for example. Once a road was constructed, other agencies dug up the constructed roads again for activities like laying of underground cables or gas pipelines. It will also leverage technology extensively, including spatial planning tools with ISRO's imagery developed by Bisag N. Bhaskaracharya National Institute for Space Application and Geoinformatics. PM Gati Shakti is based on 6+: comprehensiveness, prioritization, optimization, synchronization, analytical, and dynamic. PM Gati Shakti is the constant endeavor to build next generation infrastructure which improves ease of living as well as ease of doing business. Consider the following statements with respect to the recommendation of the SC Garg Committee on cryptocurrencies. It proposed a ban on cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. It should be regulated in crypto business in the country, such as crypto exchanges and others. So we have to select the correct statement. Both are correct. Option C is the correct answer. Investors and startups operating in the virtual digital assets and cryptocurrency ecosystem hailed Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's move to tax at 30% any incomes from transfer of any virtual digital asset. SC Garg has headed the Interministerial Committee on Virtual Currency in 2019. It had proposed a ban on cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. It suggested it should be to regulate crypto businesses in the country, such as crypto exchanges and others. The third law could be for regulating crypto assets. Moving on, the cases of MS Tubal versus State of Maharashtra, Shenna Jagadishwar versus State of Andhra Pradesh, and Gayakwar versus State of Punjab are related to which of the following? These cases are related to option D, euthanasia. Students of Medical College in Uttar Pradesh seek precedence not for euthanasia. In MS Dubal versus State of Maharashtra, the Bombay High Court held that right to life under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution includes right to die. On the other hand, in Chenna Jagadishwar versus State of Andhra Pradesh, the High Court of Andhra Pradesh said that the right to die is not a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. And in Gayakwar versus State of Punjab, a 5-member bench overruled the P. Rathainam's case and held that right to life under Article 21 does not include right to die or right to be killed. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding the budget. According to the Article 114 of the Indian Constitution, the union budget of the year is referred to as the annual financial statement. The first budget of independent India was presented in 1951. So we have to select the correct statement or statements. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.